Okay, hello everybody, and welcome to our lesson today. We are going to review what we've learned so far in chapter 4-1, and that is talking about how to create a scatter plot and then how to make some associations and outliers and clusters from that scatter plot. So let's start. First of all, if you're in my class, what I want you to do after you watch this video is there will be an assignment. It's 4-1 additional practice. Please staple this and your assignment together before you turn it in for full credit. Okay, so number 1 says this. Luciana collects data about the ages of people who enter a concert giveaway and puts it in the table below. So she makes this table here. Here's the age of each categories, so 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and this is the number of people who are entering to win tickets to the concert. Okay, so there are 5 10-year-olds who have entered, 8 11-year-olds, 10 12-year-olds, 14 13-year-olds, 15 14-year-olds, 15 15-year-olds, and 1 16-year-old. So what we want to do to complete the scatter plot underneath, first I'll slide this up, is we want to first label our X and Y axis. So if you recall from last week, our X values are always our first ones, and our Y values are always our second row in our table. So if we label our graph X and Y, it's pretty easy to see that age must go across the bottom in years, and that the number of entries has to go across the y-axis. And if you recall that there is a name for these, age, since it is first and it goes across the x-axis, we call that our independent variable. And our number of entries would be our dependent variable. Okay, and so those are the first things that we need to get going so that we can put our data on. The next thing we have to do is we have to label our axes. So sometimes when we look at our data, we don't have enough squares to fit, so we have to go by 2s or 5s or 10s. So we got to take a look at what we've got here. Well, age, our lowest age is 10 and our highest is 16. Now if we can, we want to be able to start with 0. So if I start with 0 here, do I have enough spaces to go by 1? So you should count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Oh, just enough. So let's go by 1s. If we start with 0 here, and if it gets too close together, so I'm working with a marker, I'm not going to mark 1. I'll mark 2, and then I'll know that's 3, and then I'll mark 4. There's 5, but I'll mark 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So even though I am only marking every other one, I'm technically still going by 1s. The middle would be, 1, 3, 5, 7, and so on. Okay, let's look at now our number of entries and how far those go up or down. So 1 is my lowest and 15 is my highest. And so it looks like this is a nice square plot, so I know that I'm at least going to have enough to go by 1s here as well. But again, they're really close together and I'm using a marker, so I'm going to mark every other one. So I'm going to mark 2 and then I'll skip. So if this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, okay, and just enough space. Okay, so once it's all set up and you've labeled your independent and dependent variables and you've put on your scale for both X and Y, you can plot your points. So let's recall that in the table above, what they're giving you here is ordered pairs for each one. So what this means is 10-year-olds, there were 5 entries. And so on the graph below, we're really graphing 10, 5. So if that were my graph, I'm going to go over 10 to the right because that's the age, and I'm going to go up 5. And again, I didn't label 5, but I know it's right between 4 and 6, and you make a dot. So my next ordered pair would be 11, 8. So I'm going to go right 11, and I'm going to go up to 8. Make sure you're accurate here. You can always use your finger to go across to make sure you're where you're supposed to be. 12, 10 is my next one. So right 12, up 10, make a dot. 13, 14. All right, so right 13 up to 14 here would be right here. 14, 15 is my next one. So 14, 15 right here. Now I have 15 for my next one. So right 15, up 15. And then finally I have 16, 1. Way down here. All right. The last thing I need to do to complete my scatter plot is I need a title for it. So this is almost complete. And so if you want to take a look at the original question or scenario, it says Luciana connects the data about the ages of people who enter a concert giveaway. So you could put on there concert giveaway. And that would be an adequate title to let us know that the age, we're talking about age and the number of entries for a concert giveaway. And so you want a title so that people can look at the graph and know exactly what you're talking about. All right, now the questions that follow are also very important. So if you go down to part B here, let's see if I can slide this up and still see most of our graph. So it says, what kind of association describes the relationship between the age and the number of entries? And so the association, if you take a look here, as our age is going up, what's happening to the number of entries here? As age is going up, the number of entries is also going up. All right? So we call that a positive association. Sometimes they use the word correlation, but in our text they use association. So what that means is as the age increases, the number of entries increase. All right. And that's a positive association. Now, does this always happen? No, there is one guy over here at 16:1 that isn't part of our pattern, which is what we're going to address in part C here. It says, identify any outliers or clusters in the scatter plot. So this guy right here that's way outside the rest of the data is considered an outlier. So our outlier is going to be the point 16, 1. All right, there's one outlier there, and you can label it on your graph as well. That's an outlier. Now, are there any that are kind of clustered together? If you look at the dots here, oh yeah, we do have a little bit of a cluster here. So our cluster would be these 3 points right here, right? It would be 13, 14, and then the next one was 14, 15, and 15, 15. Those are all kind of close together. That's a cluster, all right? So right here, we would say cluster. All right, so that's the kind of data all clustered together. And those are the answers here for that I wrote down. I'm not sure if you could see them both at the same time. Now you can. Okay, and then the last thing, now you got to think with like a real life situation and use your logic. what situation might have caused an outlier? So we have one outlier here. And so if you think about this, it's a concert giveaway. And they're going up, and if you take a look at this, we really get that cluster around 13, 14, and 15-year-olds, right? And so maybe this is something that is targeted toward an audience of 13 through 15-year-olds. Maybe after that, 16-year-olds are into something else. So it might have caused the outlier that the target audience was maybe middle school to or 8th and 9th graders. So we'll say middle school students and 9th graders. And 9th grade and like some buildings have just a 9th grade building, so maybe that was the target audience there. All right, because different age levels do tend to like different music. Okay, so that's what we've got for today. This should help you complete the assignment for today. So the assignment that goes with this that I want you to staple to this says 4-1 additional practice. So there is a total of, let's see, 5 questions on this, okay? So there's a front and a back. And make sure that you are filling in each question completely, and then take this and staple it to it and then turn it in. Hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you soon. If you have questions, make sure you email me.